It's National Suicide Prevention and Awareness Week, and I've struggled with making this video. Not just because I'm just getting over COVID, but because it's something that's really difficult to talk about. Before I get started, let's just put this up there. If you or someone you know is having problems right now, is really spiraling, definitely give this line a call. I know because I've given that line a call before. I've struggled with suicidal ideation my whole life, as long as I can remember. I think it first cropped in around middle school. One of the school bullies pushed me around and said that the world would be better off without me, and I wondered if that was the case. I didn't want to wake up and have to face this again, and maybe it would have been better if I just wasn't here. But I kept going, through middle school, and high school, college, my adulthood. But that tiny little voice in the back of my head, never totally goes away. And when things get really bad, it gets louder. And a lot of people who struggle with suicidal ideation have a similar experience. And this year was pretty rough for me. Early January, I was in the hospital because of my kidneys, and shortly thereafter, I started losing function in my finger. Honestly, I was probably losing function before that. I think I knew, but I didn't want to admit it to myself, because I didn't want it to be that I couldn't write or game or draw or anything like that again. I was staring down my life changing in a very serious way, a lifelong disability on top of several other lifelong disabilities, and it was scary. It was really scary. And it didn't start with me, in a bad place. But when people tell you to reach out when you're going through a tough time, they never tell you what to do if the people you reach out to push you away. And that's largely what I experienced. Not because any of the people who I were reaching out to were bad people or anything like that, but because lots of times people don't even know what to do. And a lot of times, if you're struggling, people will take that personally. In my attempts to reach out for help, I have lost so many friends. The entire friend circle that I once had is basically gone, because not everyone wants to deal with your problems when you're going through something like this. Everyone has their own shit that they want to deal with. And at the time, I, blamed myself for that. That made me spiral even harder. Which is, scary, right? The thing that you hear from content creators, the thing that you hear from all of these suicide awareness videos is reach out because people care. And to be met with this feeling that not only do people not care, but they don't want to deal with you, that's what put me in a very, very dark place. Heck, one of my best friends, in response to me saying that I was struggling, said that life is just a series of things getting more painful before you die, which was the worst thing you could have said to someone who was struggling with suicidal ideation. And when I later confronted him about that, he went off on me. And so eventually it felt like no one cared, and eventually I ended up calling that hotline. And at least for that one night, it was enough. I had someone to talk to. And I spoke about it with my therapist, and I got the help that I needed. And I went on to, live another day. But again, the little voices in my head, they never go away. And trust me, as a content creator, there's no shortage of people in my comments telling me that the world would be better off without me. I'm at a point where, that thought that maybe the world would be better off without me is not as loud as it used to be. I've made new friends, I've gotten medical attention for the disabilities that, I have, and I'm looking forward to the future, even if life is going to be a little different. And the people from my old friend group that still care about me, did come together to help me. So even though things may seem really bleak and hopeless sometimes, there always is a little bit of hope. So I guess what I want to say is that if you're struggling, don't only reach out, keep reaching out. Heck, send me a DM if you need to. It can be very discouraging when the people around you don't know how to help you with your issues. And some may cover their eyes and ears when you say that you're struggling. But someone out there will listen. Sometimes it's even a stranger. Sometimes it's someone at a hotline. Maybe it's your therapist. Maybe it's a friend you don't even know you have yet. But if you give up, you'll never know. Last year I did a series of videos here about why I would always choose immortality over dying. This is why. As someone who's grappled with suicidal ideation in the past, I won't casually say that there is a point in time where death is preferable ever. I don't care how lonely I am, I don't care how sick I am, because I've been lonely in the past and I've been sick in the past. And everything about me had to come together to say, I want to live another day back then. And so if I had the choice, I would choose to live another day now. And another, and another, and another. And I know I'm not going to be immortal. I know someday those days are going to come to an end. But I would never choose to make them end. If you give me another day, if you give me another 1,000 days, I'm taking them all. And I hope that you will too. This wasn't a particularly planned video. This was, mostly just me speaking my truth out to, the internet as someone who's dealt with it before. Because sometimes it helps to hear that other people have gone through what you've gone through and come out the other end. As always, if you're struggling, call the hotline, reach out to someone you love, choose to go on at least one other day. Because it can get better. It does get better. You may not know how, the people around you may not know how, but keep rolling those dice, and sheer probability says you're going to get as many 20s as you get 1s. And you can't get those 20s if you stop rolling the dice. I may not even know you, but I love you. Take care of yourself, and choose to live another day.